Habakkuk 3, verse 12, describing the same event. You marched, or the same sequence of events, because there's a number of events that are implied in this. You marched through the land. In your indignation, you trampled the nations, and you went forth for the deliverance or the salvation. You can use either word, deliverance or salvation, of your people. Because the Jewish people are being systematically destroyed by all the nations together in unity, and there's only one deliverance: the greater David, the Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus, fully God, fully man. Look at Psalm 110, verse 5 to 6. This is King David writing about this, talking about the Messiah at the end times. He will execute kings. He will judge among the nations. He will be among the nations, killing the kings. He will fill, catch this, the places with dead bodies. Now, that's not the Jesus most of us are familiar with at Christmas time. But it is the Jesus of Christmas, who brings peace and goodwill to all men. And the Jesus of Armageddon is exactly the same man. He only kills to bring peace and goodwill to the earth, to drive away the oppression of those who hate truth and those who hate his purposes and his people, and they won't repent. Look what it says, Psalm 110, he will execute the heads of many nations. You read that later. It's in context to the second coming, no question. This is Jesus. He's not doing it from the sky. He's on the earth when he's doing this. Paragraph J, as he marches through Edom, I know he's coming up through the wilderness. You know, Moses walked through the wilderness. It's the same area as the wilderness. As he marches through the wilderness, he functions as the greater Moses. Paragraph K, he's leading the captives of Israel because they've been in prison camps throughout the Middle East. He actually goes and he opens prison doors in the literal sense to liberate them from death camps. And there's many verses. If this is new to you, this will be astounding how many verses are in the Bible about this subject. We sing that Jesus opens prison doors, and we've reduced it to addictions, that we're set free from prison, and I think that's a great application, but it's not the full application. He is literally going to open prison doors. And he's going to gather his people. You can read that in Isaiah 27, and there's many verses. He gathers them, it says, one by one. Jesus is doing this, marching them up to the land, through the land. When they're in death camps in Egypt and Iraq and Iran, he doesn't wave his hand and suddenly they are transported in the spirit to Jerusalem. They actually walk to Jerusalem. The trains don't work. The airplanes are not working. Because of all the judgments, Jesus does the Moses journey and actually walks them back to the land. And they cross over the Jordan, and he brings them to the promised land as the greater Joshua. He's the greater Moses, the greater Joshua, the greater David, and on and on. He fulfills the whole story of which the book was written about him. The Old Testament was actually written about Jesus. Stage 3. Paragraph L. He enters into Jerusalem. This is his triumphal entry into Jerusalem, but this time they accept him. He has an astounding victory over the enemy armies surrounding Jerusalem. Top of page 4. He defeats the enemy, paragraph M, as the greater David. I don't have this on the notes, but he builds the temple as David set his heart to do. David's son Solomon actually built it, but David did the foundational work for it. Zechariah 6 verse 12, you can write that down if you want. Zechariah 6:12, it says the Messiah will build the temple in Jerusalem when he returns. We're talking about the millennial temple, not the tribulation temple. He will capture, Revelation 19, the Antichrist, the false prophet. He will destroy them. I mean, he doesn't, it's not David defeating Goliath. It's the greater David defeating the greater in-time Goliath. Paragraph N. Oh, I love paragraph N. Psalm 24, I love this verse. Jesus will be celebrated as the Son of David in a coronation parade. Psalm 27. This is what they will say in Jerusalem. Lift up your heads, O you gates. The King of glory is coming in. This is Jesus marching with all the captives of Israel. As the greater Moses, the greater Joshua, he's entering in the city of Jerusalem. He's bringing the Jewish people back home, those that the Antichrist tried to exterminate. They go, lift up your gates, your heads, O you gates, for the King of glory. He's coming in. Then the question, who is the King of glory? He is the Lord. He is strong. He is mighty in battle. This is the Jesus of Armageddon. He has defeated all the nations, and the city of Jerusalem that has been under the oppression of a siege, they open the gates, and Jesus of Nazareth comes walking in, and they say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, and they accept him as a nation. Paragraph O, we'll skip this. Jesus leads a royal procession through Jerusalem and into the sanctuary unto the place of his throne. He establishes his throne. There's a glorious, music-filled procession through the city of Jerusalem into the sanctuary that he establishes and he builds. I don't know how he builds it, but he builds his temple and his glory, and he calls down the New Jerusalem as well, and it gets all connected in ways we don't understand. Now, where will the saints be? They will be with him, paragraph P. You can read Zechariah 14 on your own, but it's talking about at the end when Jesus delivers the city of Jerusalem in battle. For the Lord will go and fight against those nations. That's all the nations around the city of Jerusalem. His feet will stand on the Mount of Olives. And the Lord will do this, and all the saints will be with him. Now, some of the saints will be on the ground, and some of the saints, I'm assuming, will be within view, but they will still be in the air. But they will all be witnessing all the events, because Jesus said, when I rapture you, you will never, ever be apart from me. He says you'll be always with the Lord from that time forward. So he didn't leave some in heaven. I don't think that there's, 2 or 3 billion saints from history plus the great harvest all standing, on the ground together. But I believe there's a whole, I call it the great amphitheater in the sky. It's all in view. Everybody sees all the events, and some of the saints are actually on the ground with the Lord. There's other verses for that. I don't want to go into that right now. Maybe all the saints are on the ground. I don't know. But it seems like some are in the air, some are on the ground, but they're all together and they're all within view. Okay, the symbols of the book of Revelation. Paragraph Roman numeral 3. This is what trips some people, but it's quite simple. Paragraph